As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, our professional colleagues all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, friends and students of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. It is another privilege, another opportunity to be on the show today. Your program, our program, ICAN on AIR. And we are here today again in the month of August. Please inform your friends and colleagues that the show has begun and they can be part of this show, ICAN on AIR, on all ICAN social media handles, ICAN Facebook page, Instagram handle, or ICAN YouTube channel. And today, we have another contemporary topic to understand and learn from: forensic audit, beyond statutory audit. And I have here with me today in the house a distinguished scholar and erudite professional, our professor of auditing and investigation, and also the lead consultant of Vandal Consulting in person of Professor Oliver Ike-Inyama, FCA, who shall be providing insights on today's topic. Please come closer. Let's start bringing our questions for the professor on the show today. I'll be going quickly on a short break, and when I come back, I'll bring in the professor so that he can be dissecting all your questions. Don't go away. Stay tuned. I'll be right back shortly.
Tax online. That is the easiest way, to pay your tax.
Companies income tax, value added tax, tertiary education tax, pay with tax program, for returns when due, pay your tax correctly, and get your e-tax clearance. Pay your tax online.
My better people for Obodo Nigeria, I don't bring better information come give una. To pay your tax now, it don't dey easy like ABCD. With this new Ogbonge platform where the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) don't bring come, then they call them Tax Promax. With this one, now for your house or office, you go just dey pay your tax. And if you want pay your tax, make you log into www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. This message now the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) they bring am for now.
Pay your tax online.
Welcome back, all our colleagues and friends and students of the Institute. And I have here in the studio, like I earlier mentioned, our own guest for today, in person of Professor Oliver Ikeyama, FCA. Professor, you are welcome to ICAN on AIR.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure having you today. Now, let me quickly take the profile of our guest on the show today. Professor Iyama is a professor of accounting with specialization in auditing and investigations. He is the immediate past HOD of accounting, the Faculty of Management Sciences of Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT. He recently had a sabbatical with Covenant University, Ogun State, and has presented papers in many local and international conferences. He is currently the lead consultant of Vandal Consulting based in Enugu, Nigeria. Dear colleagues and viewers at large, and that is our brief profile of our guest on the show today. And we shall be looking at the topic, forensic audit beyond statutory audit. So start sending in your questions. The prof is on seat to dissect and provide responses, adequate ones, to all your questions. So, Professor, let's start this way. While audit report forms an independent opinion on true and fair view of the financial statement of the audited entity and being properly prepared in accordance with accounting standards, forensic audit is beyond that. And having you as our guest on the show today will give our global viewers the opportunity to learn and share from your depth of academic knowledge, skills, and experience. Why is audit important, Professor?
Well, audit is important because it is an examination of books of accounts by an auditor. Books of accounts prepared by companies, NGOs, individual businesses, even charity organizations. The auditor has a role of conducting examinations on the documents or the records prepared by these entities. Audit is important because the shareholders are interested in it. Once there is a separation of ownership from control, there is need for an independent umpire called an auditor. The entity concept separates the ownership of funds with the controllers, the management and the owners of such funds. So once there is this separation, there is always a need for somebody to come and lend credence to the books of accounts prepared by the management, assuring the owners of the funds of a true and fair view in recognition of the effort of the management in management of their funds. So it's important to the stakeholders, it's important to the shareholders, it's also important to the management because the management sets internal control system to ensure that they don't run into fraudulent activities and irregularities. Then when the auditor conducts this examination, he must have a word on the compliance to internal control provisions. So the management will use that, will use the input of the auditor during the external audit to begin to fine-tune their internal control system in order to prevent fraud and irregularities. So it's important. It's important to the generality of the public that might want to invest in such companies. They look out for such audit reports to know whether they should invest their hard-earned money into such companies. And because the auditor is a professional, once he says the accounts, the records show true and fair view, a reflection of the books of accounts as stated in the financial statement, the public intends to have some level of confidence in such companies and can avail them of their hard-earned savings. So it's important. It's also important to the government. Yes, it's also important to the government. They're interested in having accounts audited, so they will be so sure that the management is not shortchanging the government in terms of revenue generation.
Thank you very much, Professor. Just with your response to the very first question, I think you have actually confirmed that you are actually a professor in this area, because I can hear your jargons talking about independent umpire, talking about lending credence, talking about entity concepts, talking about stakeholders theory and many other jargons that you have brought into the response of the very first questions. That means you actually have the very and the best guest on the show today for this topic. You are doing good work. You are doing good, my professor. Still in that realm. So what do you say are the similarities and differences between the statutory audit and forensic audit?
Well, as this topic of today goes, forensic beyond the statutory. It shows that statutory comes before the forensic. So once an audit is statutory, it is a product of the law. It is orchestrated by the law. It is a mandate of the law. But forensic audit is not mandatory. It's not mandatory. Nobody compels anybody to carry out forensic. Forensic is a product of insinuations resulting in fraud. After the normal statutory audit, the management of the
Hello, Professor. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me? I think there is a glitch on from the professor's network, but at least so far so good. I think we have been getting some glimpse on actually what a forensic audit is, and in terms of comparing it to what statutory audit is and all of that. So, like I did say earlier, that Professor Olivia is actually telling us that he's actually a professor of accounting with specialization on audit. Okay, we'll quickly go on the commercial so that we can quickly resolve this network glitch. I'll be right back with the professor to continue with the program. And if you are just joining us on the show today, this is your program, our program, ICAN on Air. And the topic we are looking at today is forensic audit beyond statutory audit. Are they the same thing? Are they similar in any way? These and many more are what Professor Olivia has been providing responses to. Please send in your questions, and I assure you once again that our professor will do justice to the questions. Let's quickly go on the commercial. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Tax from pay your tax online. That is the easiest way, to pay your tax.
Companies income tax, value auditors, tertiary education tax, pay with tax promise, for returns when due, pay your tax correctly, and get your e-tax clearance. Pay your tax online.
My better people for Obodo Nigeria, I don't bring better information come give una. To pay your tax now, it don't dey easy like ABCD. With this new Ogbonge platform where the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) don't bring come, then they call them Tax Promax. With this one, now for your house or office, you go just dey pay your tax. And if you want pay your tax, make you log into www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. This message now the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) they bring am for now.
Pay your tax online.
Security is key to national development and growth. No nation can be truly economically successful without peace and stability, or when its security is threatened. This is why we must perform our civic obligation of duly paying our taxes so as to provide the needed resources for government to secure our lives and properties. When we pay our taxes, government is provided with the needed resources to equip our security agencies for a safer Nigeria. The money we pay as taxes is used to purchase equipment and hardware, invest in intelligence and other sophisticated technology, as well as cater for the welfare of all security personnel. A secure nation is a prosperous nation. Nigeria is safer when we pay our taxes. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Tax romance, pay your tax online. That is the easiest way, to pay your tax.
Companies income tax, value added tax, tertiary education tax, pay with tax promise, file returns when due, pay your tax correctly, and get your e-tax clearance. Pay your tax online.
My better people for Obodo Nigeria, I don't bring better information come give una. To pay your tax now, it don't dey easy like ABCD. With this new Ogbonge platform where the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) don't bring come, then they call them Tax Promax. With this one, now for your house or office, you go just dey pay your tax. And if you want pay your tax, make you log into www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. This message now the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) they bring am for now.
Pay your tax online.
Security is key to national development and growth. No nation can be truly economically successful without peace and stability, or when its security is threatened. This is why we must perform our civic obligation of duly paying our taxes so as to provide the needed resources for government to secure our lives and properties. When we pay our taxes, government is provided with the needed resources to equip our security agencies for a safer Nigeria. The money we pay as taxes is used to purchase equipment and hardware, invest in intelligence and other sophisticated technology, as well as cater for the welfare of all security personnel. A secure nation is a prosperous nation. Nigeria is safer when we pay our taxes. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And if you are just joining us from wherever you are watching this program, this is your program ICAN on Air, And today, 10th of August, year 2023, we are considering the topic forensic audit beyond statutory audit. I can see some people are already sending in their questions. Of course, the prof is here in the studio to do justice to those questions. Our own guest for today, Professor Olivia ICAN-ngr, a professor of accounting with specialization in auditing and investigations. Let me quickly recognize some of our participants that have joined the show today. We have here Fagbolate Mitope Adeniyi, a man from Ibadan. He has joined us and is already telling us that Ibadan is the city that will host the forthcoming 18th Western Zonal Accountant Conference, tagged Ibadan 2024. Let's wait till next year. Of course, we still have an AAC to deal with in this year, of course, and I will still announce that as the program continues. Also on the show, we have Bimbo Adams, Aikbotoje, Bimbo all the way from Port Harcourt. You are cited. Adewale Ayo from Ibafo in Ogun State. I recognize you. Adeyinka Ogorombi, I think maybe possibly your device, the sound should be better now. Adeyinka Ogorombi, we cite you. Meshach Shola Olayemi said, thank you for this wonderful topic. You can say that again. Like I did say, the prof is already marshalling those points, telling us of the differences and similarities between those two types of audit that we have brought out today for discussion. Iyogu Messi, we recognize you. Christopher Chukuma Anagu, all the way from Bonny State, you are cited. Anibema Martins Luther, viewing from CBD, FCT Abuja, said, I'm proud of ICAN. We are also proud of you. Ibukun Oluwa Sheung Ayodeji from Ibadan, you are cited, brother. Okamiogu Paul, steering from Lagos, we cite you. Samson Ajibade says, keep up the good work. Thank you very much for that compliment. Oluwakemi Shokunbi Luther Agobil, all the way from Gombe State. Thank you very much. Upai Kalu from Onitsha, you're cited. Kehinde Victor Owade, all the way from Osun State. Osun State, that's a good one. We cite you. Also, Titus Yusuf from Yola in Adamawa State. We recognize you and we cite you. Okay, then Inka is confirming that the sound is now very good at its end. That's a good one. We recognize you all. Tell your friends to tell others to join this program. And particularly on the topic we are considering today, the prof will be back here to continue with those questions so that we can actually know what exactly is forensic audit and why is it different in any way from statutory audit. And now let's quickly take some announcements on this program. There are some announcements that we have for you as our guests, and they are very vital ones. On August 21st, year 2023, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., of course, we are all invited to an IT and consulting faculty webinar. And the theme is the accountancy profession in the age of digital. The fee is just 8,000 naira, please. And we have the credit points of 7.5 MCPD credit hours. You can make your payment immediately, and please log on to our website to register for this program. Also, we have the MCPD program on energy sector coming up between August 16th and 17th. It's a virtual program and the cost is 20,000 naira. Make your payments quickly and enjoy your credit hours, and also with the knowledge that comes with this program. Also, we have a tax practice, MPCD in tax practice, coming up between August 23rd and 24th. It's a physical program and it's 30,000 naira only. Please make sure you attend all these programs. You cannot afford to learn and relearn and continue to learn in this the field of accounting that we have been chosen to be. Also, we have for entrepreneurship, August 30th to 31st. It is a virtual program also, and the cost is 20,000 naira. Like I did say, accountants cannot afford not to train themselves. Of course, we need to train and to retrain ourselves so that we can keep updated of all the changes in the profession. Also, the very important program, which is the 53rd Annual Accountants Conference, is coming up live in Abuja between Monday, October 9th and Friday, October 13th of this year. And the theme of that program is Nigeria, Imperatives for Inclusive Development. It is an hybrid program, so you don't have an excuse. You can join from wherever you are, and if you also wish to be a physical participant, you can also make that a registration. Of course, there are lots of activities in the program, and the venue is the International Conference Center in Abuja, FCT, Nigeria. There will be plenary sessions, and there are reasons why you must attend this program if you want to know. One, you are going to listen to seasoned and amazing speakers from within and outside the country. Two, you are going to procure knowledge that is well-rounded. Three, networking opportunities with fellow members, your colleagues over there, your classmates, your colleagues from previous engagements, and all of that. You are going to network and all of that. So another one is you are going to stay ahead of industry trends and competition, like I mentioned, because of the papers that would be presented during the conference. You are going to acquire skills to scale new heights. There will be opportunities to invest in yourself and also in your future. And the last but not the least is that you are going to relax and have fun. Like I usually say, accountants should not just be concerned with work and work and work. Sometimes too, we should take a leave, step out of our office, and also have relaxation. So the special attractions are business exhibitions. There will be different forms of sport programs with golf, chess, table tennis, Scrabble, lawn tennis, and novelty football match will be there. Of course, happy hour evening of varieties will also be there. A gala night, dinner will be there, and there will be live performance. For those that have been opportune to be in the conference before, you will know how we roll in our gala night. There will be a raffle draw, and at least one car will be won by the lucky member. There will be free access to conference app to view conference activities and all of that. So make your registration today. Tomorrow may be too late. Also, I have some other people still joining us on the program today. I think our members actually still want to participate in today's program because, like I did say, the topic is something you cannot but miss. Omoba Opeyemi Omotola, you are welcome. All from Abeokuta in Ogun State. Also, Mamai and the Roots from Jalingo, you're also welcome. Apologies, please. Our guest on the show has a little network glitch, and we're trying to resolve that network glitch. As soon as we are able to resolve that, we'll be back with him in the studio so we can continue with the program. But while we are doing that, let's also go back on the break and run some commercials. But I also usually mention on this program, partner with us on this program. Bring your wares so that we can market for you. ICAN on Air program has a very wide reach across the shores of the country, and the cost is affordable. I assure you of that. Bring your wares and let us partner together. Let's quickly go on the short commercials, and I'll be right back with the guest on the show. Don't go away. Yes, welcome back to the show. And I guess we have a guest on the show back. Sorry, like I mentioned, it's a network glitch. And it's something you don't also prepare for. Sometimes the network could be funny in this part of the world. But apologies to our teaming fans and teaming participants who have been waiting anxiously to be part of the program. Sorry, Prof. I think the Prof just left again. The network today is just not helping matter at all. But we'll see how we can just manage, because the show today is one that we had expected would be very lively and lovely because of the topic. Ali James, I say glad to be here. Pieces. Thank you, Ali, for joining us. Chinwe Anochie, say good evening, everyone. We'll welcome you to the show. Forensic audit beyond statutory audit is a topic we are discussing on the show today, and our guest is Professor Olivia Inyama, FCA, a professor of accounting from ESUT, and he's been dissecting that topic. But before we had a little challenge, apologies once again. We'll be right back with the guest now. Okay, I think it's coming back. Apologies. Prof, you welcome back, sir. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me? Wow. Okay, it's a serious challenge we're having with the network. Okay. Okay. Let's quickly go back on the commercial to quickly resolve that glitch. Like I said, it's a serious one. We are trying all efforts from the studio to ensure that we can resolve that glitch and bring back the Prof. So we can actually move. So let's quickly go on the break. We'll be right back after this timeout. Stay tuned.
Tax from pay your tax online. That is the easiest way, to pay your tax.
Companies income tax, value added tax, tertiary education tax, pay with tax promise, for returns when due, pay your tax correctly, and get your e-tax clearance. Pay your tax online.
My better people for Obodo Nigeria, I don't bring better information come give una. To pay your tax now, it don't dey easy like ABCD. With this new Ogbonge platform where the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, don't bring come, then they call them Tax Promax. With this one, now for your house or office, you go just dey pay your tax. And if you want pay your tax, make you log into www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. This message, now the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, they bring them for now.
Pay your tax online.
Security is key to national development and growth. No nation can be truly economically successful without peace and stability, or when its security is threatened. This is why we must perform our civic obligation of duly paying our taxes so as to provide the needed resources for government to secure our lives and properties. When we pay our taxes, government is provided with the needed resources to equip our security agencies for a safer Nigeria. The money we pay as taxes is used to purchase equipment and hardware, invest in intelligence and other sophisticated technology, as well as cater for the welfare of all security personnel. A secure nation is a prosperous nation. Nigeria is safer when we pay our taxes. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Okay, Prof, you are welcome back, sir.
Thank you. The challenge is much.
Yes, yes, we can all see. We can all see.
I can hear you well.
Cannot see. Okay. So you were trying to discuss the differences and similarities between statutory audit and forensic audit. I think we can pick it up from there.
Okay, so I was trying to say that the forensic audit is beyond the statutory. Statutory is normal, it's conventional, it is statutory, it has to be done. But forensic audit is can only be called up if there is a suspicion. Yes, normal for statutory audit, because it's conventional, because it's legal, it has to be done as a matter of the mandate of the law. The statutory audit, if there are deficiencies or weaknesses in the internal control system, which probably could have given rise to fraud, then the forensic auditor might the level of the fraud or the error which would have been caused by that weaknesses in the internal control system. So it's not the same. And the conventional auditor, the appointment of the conventional auditor, the remuneration of the conventional auditor, the statutory auditor, is not the same thing with that of forensic. In forensic audit, because it is investigative, because it demands specialized skill, they charge more in order to prosecute their own assignment, much more higher than that of the statutory auditor. The statutory auditor, his own exposure is in terms of just examination and expression of independent opinion, not even a professional opinion. His opinion is independent. But for the forensic auditor, his opinion is not just independent, but professional, because he prepares his own report, looking at the law, looking at the consequences of litigation. What makes it forensic is that it has the tone of the law court. It has the tone of the law court, and the forensic auditor must be ready to defend the report that came out from his office. So it is basically, they are basically not the same thing. The commitment under forensic audit is much, much higher than the commitment under conventional, under statutory audit.
Okay, lovely, beautiful. And this is what we would have missed due to that network glitch. No, we won't miss it. We'll have this show today and we'll enjoy it with the responses from our amiable prof. The next question here, Professor. Regardless of these audit assignments that are carried out in organizations, we still witness that companies still collapse. We witness the collapse of companies. So what could be the likely reasons for such collapse, even after an audit has been carried out and there has been a statement saying that it's an opinion saying that it's free and it's true?
Yes, like I said, you understand that the opinion of the auditor is an independent opinion. It's purely independent. And because it's an independent opinion, he carries out his audit making use of sampling. He samples. He could sample vouchers, he could sample receipts. He could base his opinion based on the number of vouchers and receipts or documents sampled. So he does not get to the extent of probing the system. He doesn't get to the extent of probing all the causes of going concern issues. Some companies could be having some going concern issues, and it might escape the samples of the external of the statutory auditor. Now, we also know that we have some changes in government policies that could truncate the entire business of a company, like we have it in Nigeria now. We have it in Nigeria. The high cost of fueling might be a serious might put some companies into a disadvantaged position, because the cost of powering generator, the cost of powering lister generator here is so much that if you meet some people, I was discussing with some business people, they told me that the cost of a business is much higher than the profit they now generate, especially in the entertainment industry. Entertainment industry, where they have to power their gen to be able to entertain the guests, and they are selling beer and snacks and all this. At the end of the day, you find out that the cost of fuel is much higher than the gain they make by selling bottles of beers and snacks and whatever. So we have some going concern issues which the auditor might not also discover. Then the auditor doesn't really certify that the company is very healthy. He merely expresses his opinion. That is why if you want to know how healthy a company is, if you want to invest and you are afraid of losing your investment, then you have to go through consultancy. You have to go through investigation. You can call for an investigator, a forensic auditor, to come and check whether fraud had occurred, as suspected. So the auditor doesn't give a clean bill of health to any company. He doesn't certify that the company is healthy and will not collapse. He doesn't certify that. He merely expresses his independent opinion. And that is why there's an expectation gap. That is why there is a very wide expectation gap when you talk about the duties of the external auditor. There's expectation. He's not saying what the public is interested in hearing. His primary duty is not to detect fraud. However, anytime that he stumbles upon inquiry, upon situations that could put him upon inquiry, professionalism demands that he should ask further questions. But assuming nothing puts him upon inquiry, and he smoothly carries out his audit and rolls out his report, then his audit might not capture all those indices of failure, all those corporate, going concern issues that could bring the company down to its knees. He doesn't compute financial ratios. He doesn't talk about working capital stability. He doesn't talk about a lot of things. If you want an auditor to say all those things for you, then you're engaging him as an investigator, not as a statutory auditor. So he doesn't really certify of a company in terms of collapse.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, Prof. To many less educated and uninformed individuals and corporate bodies, they see an auditor as someone who is out there to catch thieves, and they have this wrong perception about auditors. As such, forensic auditors face lots of resistance from entities. What would be your own advice or suggestion in terms of the soft skills that forensic auditors should have and demonstrate so that they can be seen and accepted as partners in progress when carrying out their audit engagement?
Well, from your question, you discover that I've just mentioned expectation gaps. The public, the users of financial information, all the time they expect more from the reports of the auditors. This time around, we're talking about the forensic auditor. He's expected to have some soft skills, but not to the extent of losing his independence, because some soft skills will come in form of communication skills. The forensic auditor should be able to communicate with the client, to the community, to the establishment, communicate properly, even to those that are being audited. If your hands are clean, the forensic auditor is not going to find you guilty. So there is no need for apprehension. It's only when you are fraudulent, or when you have something, when you're hiding something, when you have committed some level of fraud, then when you hear from forensic auditor, you are panicking. But if you know that you have not created any accounts, if you know that you have not smoothened any of your earnings, then if the management calls for a forensic auditor, you will be smiling and not guilty. That is why their job is very critical, because they know that you can take them, you can claim damages from them if they wrongly indict you. They must be very careful with their reports. They must be very careful with their investigation. And that is why the forensic auditor is interested in carrying out almost 100% audit of vouchers and receipts and accounting documents. Because they don't want to leave rhyme, and you put the amount and how you did that. And eventually they discover that you were not saying the truth. That particular person can sue the forensic auditor and make a lot of claims. So the forensic auditor is not just a watchdog. He's not just a watchdog, he's the fact finder. So, and he finds only fact. If you know that finding facts will not expose you to any risk, then there is no need being afraid of the forensic auditor. Then I talked about communication. You should be able to communicate his assignment. You should be able to communicate his engagement so that people will understand the reasons why he's there.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, Professor. For those who are just joining us, this is our own Professor, Professor Olivia ICAN-ngr, FCA, who has been our guest on the show today. Forensic audit, beyond statutory audit is the topic we are digesting. Prof, moving on the questions. As a Nigerian and a seasoned academic that you are, give us your own unbiased assessment of the application and performance of forensic audit in Nigeria as of today.
Okay, I didn't get you well, but you're asking about the position of the forensic auditors in Nigeria today.
Yes, what is the performance of the forensic audit in Nigeria today, based on your own unbiased assessment?
Okay, you and I know that for now, the forensic auditors are not so popular. That is why they are fighting for recognition. The forensic auditors are agitating for registration of their own professional body. They want to be very visible, you know. Some people still see them as see forensic audit as a foreign idea. Why do we engage forensic auditors when we have statutory auditors? When we have auditors here, why do we engage forensic? It is not that the statutory auditors cannot perform the work of the forensic. They can, but the Companies and Allied Matters Act actually gives them a lot of protection that prevents them from carrying out their work as if they are carrying out investigation. Limiting their responsibility to expression of independent opinion is what the forensic auditors are catching up with. So what I want to say is that they are yet to be fully integrated into our system. You know that in any company, once you call forensic audit, like in the CBN, you say there's going to be a forensic audit of the CBN. People are afraid. People are saying, wow, they're going to catch criminals. That is the perception, that they're out there to catch criminals. People don't like to hear about them, especially if their hands are soiled. So what I'm saying is that it will get to an extent when people will begin to get to know that forensic auditors are needed not to actually catch thieves, but to do a whole lot of things. Apart from catching the thief, they can strengthen internal control mechanisms to forestall occurrence of fraud. They can also make some inputs into corporate governance mechanisms. They can help to strengthen corporate governance of organizations. And that will also go a long way towards prevention of fraud. So it's not about catching the thief. We are yet to integrate them. People are yet to understand the real concept of these forensic auditors, because we simply see them as if they have come to fill a gap created by the conventional auditors. That's how most of people see them. That since the conventional auditors cannot catch a thief, then let us get the forensic to catch them. So they are beyond, the forensic auditors are beyond that. So I'm saying that they are wrestling to be accepted. And I'm sure once they are fully accepted, they are going to begin to do a lot more than catching a thief.
Okay, beautiful. But still, something from that question or related to this, your response, is this another question for you, but relates to your last response. Okay, Prof. So window dressing, creative accounting, tax evasion, asset falsification, etc., are amongst the many intolerable acts that are not allowed by law and that people actually perpetrate. And we also know that the task of the forensic auditors also come with risk, hostilities, and even dangers of personal harm. Prof, are there any legal or regulatory or professional safeguards to protect these forensic auditors?
Yes, there should be. There should be at the appointed time, because I've also gone through the documents that are putting forward for approval. They have some safeguards for themselves there, because there should be. But what I'm saying is that just like the whistleblower policy, the issue of identification of the forensic auditor in the court of law, the issue of the forensic auditor going to the court to defend the report that he has written in contemporary Nigeria, there there's issue of this identity issue. Once you are identified as the person who is causing injury to this or that, we know how Nigeria is presently. But the forensic auditor can also assess the risk attached to his job. He can assess the risk attached to his job and know whether there's a way he can surmount such a risk. Then, in some cases, the forensic auditor may not be the one to go to the court to go and present witness. He may not be the one to go and read out the litigation support that he has already provided. The forensic auditor can also pass his findings, pass his report through a legal person, through the lawyer. After all, the lawyers go to the court and even jail a criminal, and they still walk along the street unharmed. So if the forensic auditor is critical in his fact finding, he's guided by the law in his fact finding, and he said the truth, he might not really be afraid, considering the risk, the assessed risk attached to the job that he's doing. It's not every job that somebody can put his head in. It's not. I listened to the appointment of Obaze as an independent auditor, personal auditor, appointed by Tinubu to go and audit CBN. And people are saying it shouldn't be one person, because when you say you are appointing Obaze, you're exposing him to a lot of risk. It is better you say you are appointing Okeke and co-chartered accountants, so that they know you are appointing a firm and not an individual. And when you appoint an individual as a forensic auditor, he can easily be bought over because he's already identified. But if it's a corporate organization, if it is a partnership, if it's Okeke and co-chartered accountant, then you cannot pin it down to somebody else because they have a protection. They have a protection. So what I'm saying is that there are safeguards. The safeguards should flow from his assessment of risk, the risk content of the job. The risk will determine the kind of safeguards that he wants to build around himself, because he must be able to build some safeguards around himself until when probably their act is their submissions to the National Assembly is approved. I'm sure if they approve it for them, it's going to come with these safeguards. It's going to come with these safeguards.
Okay. That means that there is a submission currently in the National Assembly, just as you have mentioned. Okay, Prof. Due to the general concern about the high cost of governance and the running of the ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs in Nigeria as of today, how do you think forensic audit can help us in plugging financial leakages and reducing wastages?
Yeah, they can do that through the anti-graft agencies. The EFCC is there, ICPC is there, the CBN is there, and other regulatory agencies. They should have forensic audit units. Forensic audit units in these agencies, so that they will be saddled with conducting thorough investigation. The government should also be very willing. They should also have the willpower to implement the reports of the forensic auditors when they eventually generate them. Because I know that the forensic auditors also provide litigation support. They provide litigation support to EFCC. They provide litigation support to ICPC and even to DSS and other. So they should be ready to adopt and implement the reports of the forensic auditors, and they should be given free hands to operate in these regulatory agencies. Give them their own findings and let the government implement them as prescribed. I'm sure it's going to help. It's going to help a great deal.
Okay, just as you are sure it's going to help, somebody is sure that it will help. Prof, let's quickly take some questions from our audience. I have a question from Okamio Paul, and his question is this: could it be said that there is a semblance between internal audit and forensic audit if the aspect of litigation is excluded or downplayed in forensic audit?
Exactly. The internal auditors are the custodian of internal control system. And as custodian of internal control system, you also know that they report to the management. Now, the management can actually appoint the internal auditors. Not even appointment, it's a core duty, it's their core duty to ensure that there are no fraud within the establishment where they operate. So there's a great semblance. Once you remove the aspect of litigation support, then the internal auditor, if he's critical minded, if he's a qualified professional, if he has the requisite experience, he can work just like the forensic auditors and provide reports to the management for implementation.
Okay. That's a good one. Another question from Fagbola Temitope. Can we have that, please? Fagbola Temitope also has a question for our guest on the show today. Forensic auditors are required to go extra mile in the discharge of his duties. What are the components of those extra miles duties as expected of a forensic auditor? I take it again, sir. Forensic auditors are expected to go extra mile in the discharge of his duties. What are the components of those extra mile duties expected of a forensic auditor?
It is not the issue of going extra mile. Once the forensic auditor is appointed, he knows his responsibilities. You can only talk about extra mile if you are comparing him with a statutory auditor. Then you cannot say that as a forensic auditor, he's not expected to use samples. He's expected to do a 100% check of the books of the financial records, of the vouchers, of the receipts and other records. So it's not about going extra mile. It is the call. He is called to unravel the mystery behind a particular fraud and error. So he cannot achieve that without going extra mile. That extra mile, unquote, is that he's going to be more critical. He's going to deploy investigative skills. He's going to even deploy artificial intelligence. He's going to deploy CAATs, computer-assisted audit tools, to be able. Those are the extra miles. He deploys artificial intelligence. He uses the computer-assisted audit tools to be able to probe into the system. He conducts trend analysis. As a forensic auditor, he conducts trend analysis. When a transaction falls out of trend, then it gives him a signal that something is wrong. So he goes extra mile. He goes extra mile. But that is built into his responsibilities and engagements.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay, Prof. Another one here. What can you say are the weaknesses or the disadvantages of forensic audit, if we have any?
Well, what you can see as a disadvantage is when you talk about confidentiality issue. Maybe forensic auditor is an outsider. If the forensic auditor cannot manage insider information, then you have played into his hands. Then inviting a forensic auditor means that you're going to spend a lot of money because it's expensive. Then employees do not like to see them. One, they claim that it dislodges them. It causes some level of distraction. Once they see them around, it's as if you have called policemen. You have called policemen to checkmate them. So some of the disadvantages will come in terms of confidentiality, in terms of threats, because seeing them around is a potential threat to anybody around, especially somebody who has engaged in fraud of any sort. So that's it. And because they are distracted, they could begin to make some mistakes. Their productivity levels could also decrease because they are threatened by the presence of the forensic auditors.
Okay, Prof. Okay. Another one here. Our institute has a vibrant and knowledge-based audience on this program, ICAN on Air. And based on your intellectual, academic, and professional prowess, how has technology been impacting the forensic audit field? And what innovations are there on the horizon regarding forensic audit that can be explored?
Well, the forensic auditors, we are now in the age of data mining. We are now in the age of artificial intelligence. And most of the times, we get to hear that through the media, through the technological, through technology. The forensic auditor is advertised. Now, people get to know them because of what happens in the media. Now, the deployment of artificial intelligence is an area that can also be explored. I know that through artificial intelligence, you can set a fraud alert. You can set a fraud alert that if expenditure surpasses a particular threshold, there will be an alert that something has happened. Assuming you are using budgets, assuming you have pegged your budget on stationaries at a particular level, you can use artificial intelligence to put it in such a way that once the threshold of that stationary subhead is exceeded, there will be an alert that you have gone beyond the limit. So there's a lot that can do. Then we have data analytics. Through data analytics, you see that the forensic auditors may not have to go through heaps of documents, heaps of vouchers. They can deploy computer-assisted audit techniques, use ACL tools, use OCRs to be able to track, to be able to look at those heaps of vouchers, even at a click of hand, without going through all the plenty vouchers and receipts and documents.
Exactly. Because of our time is fast spent. So this will be a parting shot for you, Professor. ICAN is always open to ideas that would positively advance the growth of our members, the accountancy profession, and the Nigerian business environment at large. What is your suggestion on filling knowledge gaps on the role of forensic audit to further raise this level of sanity in public and private organizations?
Beautiful. That flows from what we have said. That flows from what we have said already. The sanity will come with awareness, creating the needed awareness that the forensic auditors are not looking for people to indict. They are looking for fraudsters. They are not looking for genuine people. So if you're a fraudster, you know that they are coming for you. Then we talk about knowledge gap. What is that knowledge gap? Knowledge gap is that the public expects a particular thing from the forensic auditor, different from what he's actually doing. So if we can bridge the knowledge gap by creating the necessary awareness, arming them with tools, then getting them to possess some soft skills to be able to talk to the people they work for, to be able to address the staff in their client office, then people will get to begin to understand them better.
Okay, thank you very much, wonderful Professor Olivia Ike-Inyama, FCA. It will have been very painful if we have not been able to enjoy you this much because of the glitch that we witnessed earlier on in the program. We would like to say a very big thank you to our own Professor of Accounting and in Essence for coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and you have indeed done justice to the topic. And on behalf of the producers of this program, we are saying a big thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Prof.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tosin. I'm grateful.
When next we call on you, we're glad you are keen onto our call, sir.
I will, sir. Thank you. And God bless you.
Thank you very much, and you too. And you too. Our regional colleagues, our global viewers, you agree with me that today's program is worth the while, highly educating and instructive. And that's all for the show today, and thanks for being part of the show. Till I come your way again with another guest, another topical issue, please stay safe and sound. And on behalf of the Nigeria team and the producers of this show, I'm Tosin Akinwumi, FCA, saying thank you for watching and bye for now.